Hello and welcome to this podcast. My name is Anastasia Snyder. I'm an Extension Specialist in the Department of Human Development and Family Science here at Ohio State University. This podcast is intended to help you learn how to use census data in your Extension programming. So let's begin. We have several goals for today. First, I would like you to become familiar with the Census website. That's the most important goal. Second, I hope that you will be able to understand the data resources available from the Census website. Third, I hope to help you learn how to use these data to describe your local community context. And fourth, we will briefly spend some time at the end becoming aware of other secondary data sources that may be able to help you inform your Extension programming. The agenda for this podcast, we're going to talk about what data sets are available and how you can use them. We'll give you an overview of the Census website. We'll actually use the data, and then explore the other data sources. So let's get started. What data sets are available on the Census website? There are several data sets available on the Census website that are available to the public. Until recently, the decennial census data has probably been the most used data source, and the 1990 and 2000 decennial census files are now available online for public use. Today, however, we are going to focus on the American Community Survey, and specifically the most recent release in December 2008 that provides representative data for counties with populations of 20,000 or more. And this new data set provides information on 81 of the 88 counties in Ohio. I'm going to give you a little bit of background about the decennial census so we can understand the difference between those data and the American Community Survey. The U.S. decennial census is taken every 10 years with the goal of providing a snapshot of the U.S. population, and it began in 1890. Historical census files prior to 1990 are available at the Historical Census Center at the University of Minnesota, and only the 1990 and 2000 files are currently available on the U.S. Census website. Keep in mind that the census is a household-level survey. Two forms have historically been collected, a short form and a long form. The short form is sent to every household in the U.S. and contains 7 basic demographic questions on age, race and ethnicity, marital status, etc. for every household member. The long form contains much more detailed questions on demographics, employment and income, family and household structure, public program participation, health, disability, household tenure and conditions, past migration, and much, much more. The long form has been collected from a sample of approximately 17% of U.S. households. The census files are representative of the U.S. population, and they're also representative of every state in the U.S. and all counties within each state. Data from these two censuses have formed the basis of our understanding of the U.S. population. In a sense, we were provided with a nice snapshot of the U.S. population every 10 years. One drawback, however, of this method was that by the end of each decade, the census data were out of date. Other more frequent data sources, such as the population surveys, provided monthly information on some population characteristics, but these studies are, again, samples of the U.S. population, and they are not representative at the state or county level. So in 2000, the U.S. Census decided to switch to a new survey called the American Community Survey that is intended to replace the long form of the U.S. Census. So 2000 was the last time that the long form was collected in the U.S. The ACS provides yearly data on the U.S. population. It is a random sample of approximately 3 million U.S. households each year. The data files are weighted to make them representative of the entire U.S. population and also of states and counties within each state. So now, with the ACS, we have yearly information on the U.S. population. In addition, new sections have been added on health and disability, public program utilization, and more detailed family and household structure. The yearly survey also makes it possible to modify and add new sections mid-decade. Since the ACS began only in 2000, this decade has been spent gearing up, so to speak, for full representation of U.S. communities. The ACS began in 2000 in the largest cities in the country only. In 2003, 3-year averages of geographic places with more than 65,000 population were released. The most recent release in December 2008 provided 3-year averages of geographic areas with a population of 20,000 or more. In fall 2009, we expect to finally have 5-year averages of census tract and block group levels, which are the smallest geographical units covered by the US Census. Now that we've provided an overview of the data sets, and before we turn to the Census website, I want to spend a few minutes highlighting how you can use census data in your extension programming. The main way, I think, is that census data is useful for grant and report writing. One way to use census data is to help support needs statements when writing grants or other documents to propose new extension programming. Providing a detailed description of your local community or region, highlighted with recent statistics from the census, helps the reader learn about the issue. It also shows that you and your organization understand the issue and how it relates to the local community context. This provides a level of credibility to you and your organization that can increase the odds of a grant funding or perhaps even promote collaborations and partnerships with other organizations with similar goals. Census data may also contain facts that support a project need or even be part of a final evaluation that demonstrates program impact. Now let's turn to the Census website and spend some time exploring and learning about the data sets available there. The Census website is located at www.census.gov. This is the Census website. As you can see, this is a dense site full of information. It can seem overwhelming at first, but knowing how to navigate the site makes it much easier. The simplest way to get information about your local community is to follow the Quick Facts link on the right side of the screen. First, you need to select a state. We'll select Ohio as our state. This sends us to a page that gives you some nice information about population and several demographic characteristics and housing characteristics of the Ohio population. It also makes comparisons to the U.S. population overall. If you click the italicized bubbles on the far right side, it gives you a definition of each indicator. This gives you some nice information, but you might want to know more. If you want to know more than what is provided in this page, you would follow the Browse Datasets for Ohio link at the top right hand of the page. This page provides much more detailed information from several census data sources. I encourage you to spend some time exploring these data sources. For now, however, we're going to follow the American Community Survey link toward the top of the page and learn more about demographic, social, economic, and housing characteristics. This new page provides more detailed information on these 4 categories. Here we have the social characteristics, followed by economic, housing, and then the demographic estimates. You have some basic information here, but if you follow the Show More link, you get the full detailed report on social characteristics here. You can see it provides information on household type, marital status, fertility, school enrollment, place of birth, ethnicity, language spoken at home, a plethora of social indicators. If you follow the economic link, you get a whole new set of indicators, primarily economic in nature: employment status, occupation, income and benefits, and so forth. Following the housing link gives you detailed information on household characteristics: bedrooms, housing tenure, how homes are heated, etc. These are very nice tables that provide some good information. What you get are 4 columns. You get the estimate in total numbers, So for example, in Ohio, there are approximately 4.5 million households. You get the margin of error, the total percent, and then the margin of error in the percent here. The reason these margin of errors are reported is because, remember, the American Community Survey is a survey of households. It's not a census. So with any sample survey, you inevitably get margins of error. One nice feature about this page is you can click on the narrative link. And this gives you a nice narrative description of some key outcomes. For example, we have a few sentences here describing household and family structure in Ohio. Plus, it comes along with a figure that might be useful for you in some way. There are not figures for every indicator, nor are there descriptive narratives, but there are for many, and it gives you a nice idea how to use language to describe some of the statistics you'll be seeing on this page. I think the narrative feature is one of the most useful features of this site, of this page of the site. So that's the quick links section. I want to go back to the US Census website and show you some other features. One thing I want you to keep in mind when navigating the Census website is it's always good to go back to the main Census page. You can just click on the bar at the top to get you to the main page and then re-enter again through here. It keeps the site from getting jumbled or confused, which it does occasionally. If that ever happens, just go back to the main Census Bureau site and start over. The easiest way to get to the data sources from the website is to follow the American Fact Finder link on the right-hand side of the page. This takes you to the American Fact Finder page, which has a whole bunch of information. It has a section on detailed data, tells you what's new, we have the population clocks, any sort of special interest in facts on special groups. One nice feature here is the Maps link. You follow the Maps link and you get to the Thematic Maps section. This page provides you with specific maps that look at state-by-state comparisons of specific indicators. For example, let's look at median household income in 2007. If you follow this link, you get sent to a page that provides you with a map of the United States. This map gives you some indicators of median household income in 2007. And over here, the legend is color-coded. The lighter yellow states in the United States have lower median household incomes. The dark green states have higher median household income. You can see here that Ohio is right in the middle in a light green shade. This allows you to make state-by-state comparisons on indicators. If we go back, we can look at a different map. Let's look at the percent of people below the poverty level in 2007. We get launched to a new page that has that indicator. Here's a map of the US with the percent of people below poverty level in the past 12 months. Again, we have the color-coded categories. The places with the lowest percent poverty are the light yellow or almost white color here, and the places with the highest poverty is this dark green. One nice thing about maps is it allows you to make visual comparisons. For example, we see in the United States there's this swath of poverty traveling through the Appalachia regions to the deep south, through Texas and into the southwest. Some of these maps might be useful for comparisons in some of your extension programming. So that's the Thematic Maps page. I encourage you to spend more time here exploring the page and finding out what is useful for you on that page. Let's go back all the way to the beginning, to the main Census website, and let's enter the American Fact Finder link again on the right-hand side. And we're going to follow the dataset link on the right-hand side of your screen. You can see here that several datasets are available for public use through the Census website. The Decennial Census, the American Community Survey, the Puerto Rican Community Survey, the the annual population estimates, the economic census, and the annual economic surveys. I encourage you to spend some time exploring these data sets if any of them contain information that would be useful for you and your extension work. Today, we're going to focus on the American Community Survey, following that link. Here we are launched to the American Community Survey main page, and you can see there are tabs for each release of the ACS going back to the year 2000, which was the first release of the ACS. Today, we're going to focus on the 3-year estimates that were released in December 2008, but the data is actually representative of the period between 2005 to 2007. So we've already looked at the quick facts link on the main page. Now we're going to take a little more detailed look at what we call detailed tables. So let's follow the detailed tables link. Okay, with these tables you have to be more specific about selecting a geographic type. One of the things that I'm excited about with this new data release is that it's representative at the county level for most counties in Ohio, so I'm going to select the county level. But you see here you can select a nation, a region, a division, a state, county, school districts even, public use microdata area. So whatever your geographic unit of interest, you can probably find it here. Now keep in mind that different types of information are available at different geographic units, and to kind of understand what different types of data are available you have to explore the different geographic units. But for now I'm going to focus on the county level. Select Ohio as our state, and then here it has all the counties. You can either select all counties or multiple counties or just one county. I'm going to select Cuyahoga County today. Okay, so we've added that to our geography selection, and we're going to click Next. Okay, so this has all the tables that are available for the detailed table analysis. Okay, you can see there are quite a few tables, and it seems a bit overwhelming. One way to narrow it down is to search by keyword. I'm going to search for poverty. Any table with the word poverty or with poverty as its topic will pop up. Okay, so it's fewer. It's fewer tables, but still quite a few tables. Well, now I'm going to scroll down through these tables and try to find the table that interests me the most and will help me answer my questions. One of the things you'll notice with these tables also is that they are presented with overall, but also by detailed race categories. That's one of the nice features of the US Census, is that it collects very detailed race and ethnic differences, and so if you're interested in that, you can find that in your detailed tables. I'm going to select poverty status in the past 12 months for families by household type and number of related children under age 18. I add it to my table selection. I want to select another one. Let's see. We'll also select poverty status by family type, by Social Security, Supplemental Security, and Public Assistance income. Okay, so I have these two detailed tables that I'm interested in. You can see how this would be different than the quick tables. The quick tables provided some overall indicators. Now with the detailed tables, you look at an indicator by another indicator, so you get much more detailed results. So we'll click Show Results. And here we go. Table B17012, which is poverty status in the past 12 months of families by household type by number of related children under age 18 for Cuyahoga County. Here we see there are a total of about 326,000 households in Cuyahoga County. 39,000 of them approximately have income in the past 12 months below the poverty level. That is broken down by marital status and number of children in the family, for married couple families, but also for other families, for those with a male householder and also for female householders. Then we get the information on those with income above the poverty level, with children, for married couple families, and then also by other family types. Here you'll see that you get the numbers along with the margin of error. You do not get percents. So for example, if you wanted to calculate the percent of married couple families that have below poverty level income, you'd have to do some division here using these numbers. The next table is even more detailed. It's poverty status in the past 12 months of families by family type, Social Security income, and supplemental security income, and cash public assistance income. So if you want to know specifically how people who receive cash public assistance income, how their poverty status is doing in Cuyahoga County or any other county, this would be a table that might interest you. And to see how that differed by a married couple versus female-headed families, for example, would be a nice table to get that information. You can see these tables are much more detailed to kind of address much more specific questions you might have. That's an example of just 2 detailed tables. I encourage you to spend more time exploring the detailed tables link and finding tables that interest your specific questions. Let's go back to the main US Census website and look at some other types of tables available. Let's enter again through the American Fact Finder link. We'll follow the dataset link to the American Community Survey. And again, we're going to be focusing on the 2005 to 2007 3-year estimates. Okay, another type of table that you might want to consider would be a custom table. These are tables that you customize to meet your needs. Again, we have to select a geographic unit. I'm going to stick with the county. So we select Ohio as the state in which the county we want to know about, and I'm going to stick with Cuyahoga County. Okay, add. Okay, so we have some more options for detailed tables, but again, we have a lot. So I'm going to go to the keyword link, and I'm going to put in now fertility and see if there are any tables that address this topic. And we have a few. Okay, let's see. Here's one that might be interested. Table B13002. Women aged 15 to 50 who had a birth in the past 12 months by marital status and age. Let's select that table at first. This is overall for all women, not broken down by racial or ethnic group. It's getting the data. Here's what the table looks like. And you can have all of these factors in your table or select out only a few. Let's say you are interested in teen births. I'd click total. I'd click all women who had a birth in the past 12 months. I'd click married, and I'd click 15 to 19. Then I'd click unmarried, and I'd click 15 to 19. And then I'd click women who did not have a birth in 12 months, married, 15 to 19, and unmarried, 15 to 19. And I'm going to add those. And I'm going to click next. And I can customize it more, but it's customized enough for me. So I'm going to click show results. So here we get a nice long table with 1 row but many columns that gives you an idea of teen fertility in Cuyahoga County. Here we see in the first column there are about 325,000 women aged 15 to 50 in Cuyahoga County during this time period. About 16,000 of those had a birth in the past 12 months. About 8,800 were married during that time. And of those, 35 were married teens. So it's a small number. We go further down the table. About 7,178 women were unmarried who had a birth in the past 12 months. And of these, about 1,152 were unmarried. Okay, so you can use these numbers to calculate percents of all births in Cuyahoga County that were teen births. You just add up the married and unmarried teen births in your numerator and divide by the total number of births. You can also say something about the percent of teen births that were to married teens compared to unmarried teens. You can see a lot more are to unmarried teens as would be expected. You can do a lot with these numbers to tell a story that would be interesting to grant writers or granting agencies that might help fund programs, or even without funding, just help inform your program to know your target population a bit more. That's an example of how to use a detailed table. I hope I've provided you with some useful information about accessing data from the American Community Survey from the US Census Bureau website. Now I want to take a few minutes to go over some other data sources available for public use on the web. The US Census website also has data from the economic census available for public use. Many people are interested in providing programs that are related to employment, income, that kind of thing, workforce development, and the US Census economic census might provide you with some useful information to help inform your program or target your program. The economic census is available. The 2002 wave is available. The 2007 wave is not yet available, but check back. It should be available very soon. They also have quick reports, which are nice. They're quick reports that are specific to geographic regions, and they're available by degrees of the NAICS codes, which are the industry codes. That might be an interesting site for some of you. In addition, the food stamp program map machine is a site that I find useful, and those of you who work with food and nutrition programs might also find it useful to get an idea about food stamp participation, poverty, those kinds of things at a county level in Ohio. It has information on food stamp participation, benefit level, per capita poverty, and much more. It's a little bit dated. I think the most recent data is 2002, but still it's nice to have that geographic information available. They also have information on the Summer Food Service Program map machine that gives you information about how that program is used geographically in the state of Ohio, and that might be useful for some of your programs as well. The Common Core data is a fabulous data set that is provided by the National Center for Education Statistics. It collects and reports annual data from all public and private schools and districts in the United States. If you have any research or extension interests related to schooling, school district level, school finance, outcomes at the school level, what programs, special ed and other programs that schools provide in your local community, this would be the source. It's well organized, easy to search, very nice data set. They also have lots of timely reports. They just released a very nice dropout report about dropouts in the U.S. high schools that is very interesting. You can download those to your computer and keep them. This is a very useful data set for those of us with educational interests, and I encourage you to explore that site. The Ohio Department of Job and Family Services also has some interesting information, particularly the Ohio labor market information. The link is up here. If you follow the link for researchers and then go to local area profiles, it provides a nice overview of labor market information in a particular area at the state or county level. You can also download your employment data for your local area and then manipulate it as you see fit for your programs. That's a nice feature of the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services. Finally, the Youth Risk Behavior Survey is a national and state level survey that is collected on an annual basis by the Centers for Disease Control. It provides national and state level data on youth behavioral risks such as alcohol and tobacco use, exercise, nutrition, sexual activity, violent behavior, using seatbelts in cars, those kinds of behavioral risk outcomes. They have nice reports. There you can make comparisons by state. You can also download the data at the national and the state level from their website and use it for your own purposes. Very nice data set for those of us interested in youth. And finally, the Ohio Department of Health has some useful information. I'm not crazy about this website, but they do have one nice link for those of us interested in health. If you follow the link for health statistics and then go to the information warehouse, there is a nice data source there that provides an overview of key health indicators by county in Ohio. that might be useful, especially if you're interested in, for example, in diabetes or obesity as outcomes and are doing programs in that area. You can find out something about the health of your county by specific diseases. It does offer some useful information. That is all for this podcast. I hope you have found this useful. We provided a detailed overview of the Census website and the American Community Survey in particular. And then we covered several other websites with public use data sources that you can download from your computer in your office. If you have any questions about any of this, please feel free to contact me. My email is snyder.893@osu.edu, and I look forward to hearing from you.